Hello, students. Welcome back to the VAIR community. This is a parallel where we talk about one particular set from the data interpretation and the logical reasoning section of the previous year's CAT papers. Today we have one for you, and today we have one for you here. And before we get on with the set, make sure to like, share, and subscribe this video so that you're updated for every particular release of a new CAT set every single week, right? Let's get on to the set and let's try and see what all is the information that is given to us in this set. This set is from CAT 2023, and it is based mostly on the concept of mean, median, and mode. Let's take a look at what the information is from the set. 5 restaurants coded R1, R2, R3, R4, and R5 gave integer ratings to 5 gig workers, that's Ulas, Vasu, Vaman, Xavier, and Yusuf, on a scale of 1 to 5. So we have 5 workers, that's U, V, W, X, and Y. We're going to call them by their initials. And the scale of rating is given 1 to 5. The means of the ratings given by R1, R2, R3, R4, and R5 were 3.4, 2.2, 3.8, 2.8, and 3.4 respectively. For everybody who doesn't know or doesn't recollect, mean basically is the arithmetic mean, or as we know in common language, it is the average. The summary statistics of these ratings for the 5 workers is given below. So we have a few information set given over here. We have the mean rating of U, V, W, X, and Y. That is the average of all the 5 restaurants. The median rating is also given, the modal rating is also given, and the range of the rating is also given. Now they have put in an asterisk over here and they've mentioned what the asterisk means basically. The range of ratings is defined as the difference between the maximum and minimum ratings awarded to a worker. So there is additional information also provided after this. We have some set of information given. The following is partial information about ratings of 1 to 5 awarded by the restaurants to the workers. R1 awarded a rating of 5 to W, as did R2 to X, R3 to W and X, and R5 to V. So we have a little bit of information, again, depending on the restaurants and the ratings that they have given to each of our workers. R1 awarded a rating of 1 to U, as did R2 to W and Y, and R3 to Y. So we'll fill all this information in once we have a little bit of an understanding of how the representation is to be made. And there is further information. These are the questions that follow. So make sure that when you're reading a set, you read all the questions that follow the set also, so that you can then think of whether you should pick up that set in CAT and try and solve it, or it's going to be a very lengthy set, or it's going to be very time consuming, or it's going to be difficult, and then you move on to read to another set as well. So the questions are, how many individual ratings cannot be determined from the above information? To how many workers did R2 give a rating of 4? What rating did R1 give to Xavier? What is the median of the ratings given by R3 to the 5 workers? And which among the following restaurants gave its median rating to exactly one of the workers? That is whether R5, R2, R3, or R4. So these are the questions that follow the set. And if you see, the first 4 questions do not have options. So they are your type in the answer questions. It's only the 5th one that has options for us. All right, now before we get on with all this information that is given to us, let's try first and understand what exactly is mean, median, mode, and range, and how they vary across the ratings that are given to all the 5. So we have this information with us. Now, even without going to that information, let us see what or how do we basically calculate the mean of certain numbers. Mean, like I said, is nothing but the arithmetic mean, or is basically the average of values. So how do you find out the average of a certain set of values? Average is calculated as the sum total of all the values divided by the number of values. I'm sure everybody is aware of this. If not, this is just a refresher for the same. So for example, if your values are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, On a regular basis, how do you calculate the average? It's the total of all these. So that's 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, which gives you a 15. And that divided by the number of values. How many values do we have? We have 5 values here. So 5 is going to come in the denominator, and my average, therefore, is going to be 3. 15 divided by 5. This is the basic mean that we have found out. So if the mean is given to us, can I find out the total of the scores that Ulhas has received? Now, again, there are 5 restaurants over here, if you remember. So 5 of them have scored Ulhas some number from 1 to 5, and the mean is coming to 2.2. So if I have to, in place of average, find the total instead, so I can just rephrase this formula as total is equal to the average into the number of values, right? And average over here is the second name for mean rating. So if I have to find the total score of Ulhas, total of all the 5 restaurants, for the total of Ulhas, what I'm going to do is write down the mean of it, that is 2.2, times the number of values. So each restaurant has given 1 value. That means there are 5 values total. That means the total of Ulhas is nothing but 2.2 into 5, which is nothing but 11. So in this way, we can find out the total received by all the 5 because we have the mean ratings for all the 5 workers here. So that is about the average bit. Let's take a look at what does median mean. Now, suppose I have Ulhas has a median of 2. Median is basically the central value or the value that comes right in the middle when you line up your numbers in either the ascending order or the descending order. So it is the central value, the number that falls in the center of the line. That's about it. For example, if I have the lineup 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, what is going to be my median for this set of numbers? The median is the central number. So I can try and just eliminate these numbers, and whatever stays in the center, that's going to be my median. Okay, now here, the median was one of the values. Against this lineup, if I have another lineup which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I'm trying to figure out which number comes in the middle. I'm cutting off one number from the left and one number from the right. And now there is no middle number, but there are 2 numbers that stay in the middle. In that case, the median will be the middle number of these 2 numbers, which is nothing but 3.5. So in the first lineup, I saw that 3 is a part of the values on the list. In the second lineup, because there are an even number of numbers, the median is basically not a part of the actual values, but it is somewhere hidden in between. All right. But because we have only 5 restaurants here, we know that there are going to be only 5 values. So there will definitely be a middle number. So your median is going to be one of the numbers on that list. For example, Ulhas has a median of 2. That means Ulhas has had a 2 somewhere because one of the numbers is going to be 2 out of the 5 numbers that Ulhas has had. And that 2 is right in the middle. So Ulhas could have scored a 2 and a 2 here, or Ulhas could have scored a 1, 2, and a 2 here. In either case, the median is going to stay 2 because that's the middle number that's coming. It doesn't matter what these scores are. The median is simply the central value, irrespective of what is there before and after. All right, it only depends on the number of values. If it is an odd number of values, your median will be one of the numbers. If it is an even number of values, your median may or may not be one of the central numbers. Why I say may or may not is because I can have a list of 1, 2, 3, 3, 5, and 6. In this case, my median is the central number. So it's in between 3 and 3, which is nothing but 3 itself. So my median could be one of the values on the list, or it may not be one of the values on the list. But if it is an odd number of values, it will definitely be on the list. So can I say that for all my 5 workers, these numbers have to be there on the list because there are 5. One of the middle numbers is definitely the median rating that is given to each of them. There will be only one median because there can be only one central value to an entire list of numbers. Likewise, even for mean or the average, you get only one single average of a certain number of numbers. You cannot have two answers. But if you go to the next one, which is the mode, modal rating is basically the mode that we're looking at. The mode is nothing but the most repeated value on the list. Most repeated value on the list. How do I find this out, the most repeated value? Now, mode for Ullas is 2. That means 2, there are 5 numbers, R1, R2, R3, R4, and R5 in some order, but this is in ascending order. If the mode is 2, it means that 2 has been repeated more than once. That means Ulhas has got 2 at least from 2 restaurants. It could be 3 restaurants also, but at least from 2 restaurants, Ulhas has definitely got a 2. Because the mode is the most repeated value, so 2 is repeated at least twice. If 2 is not repeated, it wouldn't be the mode unless none of the values are repeated. But then there is a single mode, and which is 2. That means 2 is repeated at least twice. It could be 4 times, it could be 3 times, it could be 2 times. Likewise, if I see for 4, this is also repeated somewhere. This is also repeated, this is also repeated. My mode for Y, though, is 1 and 4, which means 1 is also repeated and 4 is also repeated the same number of times. Now, there are 5 ratings. Can I have 3 4s and 2 1s? No. Then in that case, the mode would have been 4. Can I have the other way around, which is 3 1s and 2 4s? No. In that case, my mode would have been 1. But the very fact that there are 2 modes, it means that 1 is also repeating the same number of times as 4. So it can be 1 and 1, 4 and 4, and there'll be a 5th restaurant which has numbered it something else. Which we can clearly see actually the median rating is 3. That means one of the numbers has to be 3. This takes care of everything. So this is how we are going to try and predict what are the ratings given by all the 5 restaurants to all the 5 workers. In fact, Yusuf's we have already got. The mode is 1 and 4. So 1 is repeated twice, 4 is repeated twice. And the median rating is 3, which means 3 has to be the central value. Now, how do I check if these are basically the ratings that Yusuf has got? Is the mean rating that is given to us. The mean rating of Yusuf is 2.6. If it is 2.6 from 5 restaurants, what is the total of Yusuf? If the average is 2.6 and there are 5 restaurants, the total is going to be 2.6 into 5, which is nothing but 13. Is the answer or is the sum of all the 5 ratings of Yusuf over here coming to 13? That's 1 plus 1, 2 plus 3, 5. 5 plus 8 is definitely a 13. So this is a match. That means, again, Yusuf has received these numbers as the ratings. I just don't know now which restaurant has given which rating. That is the only thing left to be filled up for Yusuf. I hope this entire thing is very clear to everybody. So there can be more than one mode within a lineup. There cannot be more than one median. There cannot be more than one mean either. That is the understanding, and that is how we have to basically understand and arrange which restaurant has given what rating to which worker. That is the entire set for today. The last line talks about the range, and they've also defined what the range is over here. So we don't need to know it beforehand, but it always helps to have some information beforehand. Range of ratings is the difference between the maximum and the minimum ratings awarded to a worker. Now that we have Yusuf's entire list, let's see. Maximum Yusuf score is 4 and minimum of Yusuf's value is 1. So 4 minus 1 gives you a 3. That's the difference. And like we saw, 3 is the range for Yusuf as well. So it's the maximum number minus the minimum number. That's all the range is. Now, we are supposed to do this kind of a situation for the rest of the 4 workers as well, and also figure out who has given which out of these to Yusuf itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and see how we can plot or write down all these numbers individually for each of the workers, depending on the information given to us. Let's see that in the next slide, please. Okay, so we know that. Okay, so this is the representation for the placement of the numbers. And we know that Yusuf has received 1, 1, 3, 4, and 4 in some order. So I'm just writing that down because we've already solved that bit for us. And I know that the mean of Yusuf was 2.6. That means the total was 13. Let's fill up all the totals actually, and then we'll try and see what more is given to us as well. So U has received a mean of 2.2, and 2.2 into 5 will give you 11 as the mean here. The next number is V. V is a 3.8. 3.8 into 5. I'm doing into 5 because we have 5 restaurants to think of. This will be a 19. 3.4 into 5 will be a 17. 3.6 into a 5 will be an 18. Likewise, also, the restaurant ratings were also given to us. The means of the restaurants that were given to us were 3.4, 2.2, 3.8, 2.8, and 3.4. The restaurant ratings or the mean given to us were all of these. So I have written them down in order of the restaurants. Let's again find out what is the total that we're supposed to get across the vertical lines. So across vertical lines, this is 3.4. That means into 5, which will give us a 17 here. 2.2 into 5 will give us an 11 here. Then this will be a 19. 2.8 will be a 14. And 3.4 will again be a 17 once more. For everyone who likes Sudoku, this is kind of like that appearance where we have to add up all the vertical numbers in order to make these additions. And we add up the horizontal lines in order to make these numbers in the additions as such. All right. There is additional information, so some of it will be helped with. Let's take a look at the first condition here. R1 awarded a rating of 5 to W. R1 has awarded a rating of 5 to W. So this number is a 5. As did R2 to Xavier. So R2 has also given a 5 to Xavier. So this is a 5. R3 to W. R3 to W is another 5. Then we have R3 to W and Xavier. So R3 to W and Xavier, these both are 5s. And we have R5 to V. R5 has given a 5 to V. So here you get a 5. This is the first condition. So they've already filled up some numbers for us. The second one says R1 awarded 1 to U. R1 awarded 1 to U. As did R2 to W. R2 to W is also a 1. And R2 to Y as well. R2 to Y is also a 1. And R3 to Y. R3 to Yusuf is also a 1. All right. So these are the partial numbers that have been given to us from the set itself. Now it is our job. This is where we start the Sudoku appearance here. So let's start with the maximum fills that we already know. We can see W's line is pretty much filled. There's only 2 numbers to be filled up for us. So we know 5, 1, and 5. That means 11 out of 17 are already gone. They've already been decided. So if 11 out of 17 are already done, what are the numbers that are remaining for us? We have 11 out of 17 gone. That means these two need to add up to a 6. These two need to add up to a 6. Now, just to tally with the information that is here as well, the mode is 5. The mode is repeated, so 5 is repeated for sure. I need to add up to a 6. Okay, so if I can have 5 and 1 as my other set of numbers, in which case 5 is repeated thrice, so it can be the mode. However, the range is 4. Range is minimum minus maximum. So the minimum value is 1 here. The maximum is 5. So that gives us a range of 4. So the range is taken care of. What about the median? Median is 4 as well. That means there is 1 4 in the lineup. So there cannot be a 5 and 1. There has to be a 4 and 2 in order to form the 6. Because the median is 4, the central value when you arrange them in an ascending or a descending order is 4. That means there is a central value of 4 as well. So if one of the numbers is 4, the other value has to be a 2 because the sum has to be 17. And out of 17, 11 is gone. So the rest two have to add up to a 6. This is what we've already seen. So one number is 4 and one number is 2 out of these. Which one I'm not yet sure of, but I know that one of them is 4 and one of them is 2. So I'm writing down the possibilities instead of leaving them blank. So R4 has either given a 2 or a 4 to W, and likewise R5 has either given a 2 or a 4 to W. So we've taken care of W now. Let's take a look at something else. My next most filled numbers are X and Y. Y, we already know that the lineup is this, 1, 1, 3, 4, and 4, right? Can I fix the rest of them? So 1 and 1 is already taken care of. The mode is 1 and 4. We have seen that as well. The median is 3, so 3 is going to be somewhere. And we know that the range is also 3, which is 4 minus 1, which gives us a 3. So this is all taken care of, but I still don't know where to place which number. So I'll leave that bit for now. But I know that these are going to be filled in either 3 or 4 or 4. And then this will also be 3 or 4 or 4. And then this will also be 3 or 4 or 4. That's the idea over here. Let's get on with some other person now. Let's take a look at X. So X has already received 10 out of 18. That means I need the other 3 numbers to add up to the extra 8 that we fill up. I know that my median is 4, so there has to be a 4 somewhere. Now, these two are the highest values that can be. So my lineup is of 5 numbers. The last 2 highest numbers are going to be 5 for sure. My median is 4. That means my middle value has to be 4. So there will be a 4. My mode is 5. That is taken care of again. And the range is also 4. If the range is 4, the smallest number has to be 5 minus the smallest has to be 4. That means the smallest number has to be 1. So there is a 1 for sure. Now I can figure out the 5th number because the addition has to be 18. So we know that this is 10 plus 4, that's 14. 15 are gone. 18 has to be the addition, so the next number has to be 3. So 5 and 5 is already adjusted. The others have to be filled in either 1 or 3 or 4. So this is either 1 or 3 or 4. This is also either 1 or 3 or 4. This is also either 1 or 3 or 4. Why am I writing all the possibilities down? Is just to have a visual understanding, because in the vertical way also I have to make up 17. So then I can just pick some numbers from here and try and see which one gives me a 17. Once I've filled up V and U as well. All right, let's take a look at V now. My total has to be 19, out of which 5 is gone. So I need a 14, right? And 5 is the largest number. So if I arrange this in order, again, 5 is going to be my largest number here. My mode is 4 though. So 4 is repeated at least twice. And my median is also 4. That means my middle number has to be 4. And since it is a mode, 4 has to be repeated at least twice. At least twice. So this could also be a 4 and 4, or only 2 4s can be there. The range is 3, however. That means the largest value minus the smallest value should be 3. That means this cannot be 1. This has to be 2. And therefore, I can now see the total has to be 19. So let's try and see what could be the other 2 numbers. My 5 plus 4, 9, and 10, 11 are gone. 11 out of 19 are gone. That means I have 8 left. If I have 8 left, I can break it down into 3 and 5, but 5 is not my mode. I need another 4. So if I need another 4, this number will also have to be a 4, because I have to distribute 8 now. So these are the values for V. I don't know which restaurant has given him which value, but I know that these are the numbers that have to be filled up over here, out of which 5 is already taken care of. So this is about V. And let's go to U now. For U, all we know is 11 minus 1, so there's a 10. The addition of the remaining numbers has to be 10. 1 is the smallest number, so it will be here. And the range is 3, so the highest minus lowest is 3. That means the highest value has to be a 4. So this itself is 4. My median is 2 and my mode is also 2. The middle number is 2. And my mode is also 2. My addition has to be 11. So let's see what is remaining. 4, 5, 6, and 7 is gone. 7 out of 11 is gone. That means I have 4 to fill over here. I can have a 1 and 3. But if I have a 1 and 3, what happens is my mode becomes 1. But I want my mode to be 2. That means 2 has to be repeated. So 1 and 3 can give you a 4, or I can have another set, which is 2 and 2. So 2 and 2 is also giving me a median of 2, a mode of 2, a range of 3. Everything is taken care of. So these are my numbers now for U as well. I don't know in which order, but they are in some order or the other. Out of which one is already placed in R1. All right, so this is all the horizontal information we have. Now let's get on with the vertical information. And that's all that is left to the set to finish it. Information on this is definite information. Here it is more of, it can be either this or this. It can be either this or this or this. So lots of possibilities in R5. Same thing in R4, same thing in R1. These are definite numbers. So it'll be easier for us to fill up R3. Let's try and see. The total has to be 19, out of which 10 plus 1, 11 is gone. So I have to fill up 8 over here. I have to make 2 numbers, or rather I have to just pick 2 numbers from these 2 in order to get an 8. Okay, so I can have either a 5 and 3, which will give me an 8, but 5 is not there for you. 5 is not there for V also. So then the only other way remaining is 4 and 4. So these 2 have to be 4 and 4. I hope this is clear to everybody. So I'm filling R3 for U as 4 and R3 for V also as 4. One of the 4s is filled in. Check once again. So we have 10, 18, and 119. So R3 is taken care of. Now, where do we go to the next one? We can see, let's say R1, try and fill up R1 because these 2 are definite and there's 1 number remaining. The addition has to be a 17. So 5 and 6 is taken care of. So 11. I have to fill up the other 3 in order to make an 11 for us. What is the smallest number that you can have is 2. So if I take a 2 here, it will be 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I need a 9. 8 is done, so I need another 9 to go. How do I get a 9 from these 2 numbers? I cannot really get a 9 from these 2 numbers. The maximum I can get is an 8. I hope everybody is following what we're doing. I'm assuming numbers, but just doing it in the mind. Suppose I take a 2 over here. Then I have a 5, 6, 7, and 8 gone. 8 out of 17 is gone. That means I need to make 9 from X and Y. I cannot make a 9 from X and Y because the maximum I can get is 4 plus 4, 8. That means 2 is not here. So if 2 is not here, the only other numbers left to fill are 4 and 4. That means this has to be a 4. Let's fill that 4 up and see what do we get. So this value is a 4. One more 4 is gone from this lineup. Now I have 4, 1, and 5. This is 5 and 5. That is 10. And now I need to make 7 from these 2 numbers, which I can clearly make. One of them can be 3, the other one can be 4. Or this can be 3, the other one can be 4. But I can say for sure that X cannot be a 1 over here because I have to make 7 from these 2 numbers. So X is either a 3 or 4, so I'm crossing out the 1 from here. Or X is 3 and 4, I'm crossing out the other 4 from here. So it's either 3 or 4 in some order here. That takes care of the 17 over here. Now let's get on with another part, which is again 3 fixed numbers. Let's try and figure out these 2. Your addition is also small. That might be easier for us. But yes, we've taken care of a 4 here. And 1 is not yet used. It's either a 3 or 4. It's either a 3 or 4. Out of 11, 5, 6, 7 are gone. So I'm left with 4 to fill up with these 2 blocks. How can I fill up 4 with these 2 blocks? My only choices for this block is either a 2 or a 4. I cannot have all 4 here and a 0 here. So clearly this block is going to be filled up with a 2. If this block is filled up with a 2, I am finishing this 2. That means R2 for you will also be another 2 because I have to have the total as 11, no? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So use one more 2 is gone. And I completely have filled up R2. Same likewise with R3 also. I know all the values of R3. Okay, I think I have cancelled out whatever we have used. Let's go to either R4 or R5. R5 has a better number. So at least there is one number given to us. So let's go to R5 then. Actually, before going to R5, this only one block for V is left, so that has to be filled up with a 4. There's only one 4 remaining, so we have taken care of all the values for V. And if I take the U's numbers as well, they are both 2's, so it doesn't matter which 2 goes where. These both are also filled up with 2's. So U is also taken care of. I have to go back to my values now of X and Y. These still have to be filled, and also W. Now let's take a look at R4 and R5. R4 is a smaller addition, so let's go to that first. So I have 4 into 6 is already over. That means out of the remaining 3, I need to make an 8. 6 is already over, 4 and 2. Out of the remaining 3, I need to make an 8 in order to get the 14. Let's see how we can get an 8 now from all the values that we have. So can I have an 8 by 2, 2 and 2? There is no possibility of 2 and 2. If I take a 4 over here, can I have a 1 here that makes it 5? My possibilities. If I take a 4 here and a 1 here, 5. And a 3 here, again, not possible. Can I take a 4 here and a 3 here and the 1 here? Again, not possible. So these are out. Can I take a 4 and 4, 8 and then a 0? No. So I can't take a 4 here basically. Can I take 3? If I take 3 and 3, 6 and then a 2, that becomes an 8. But I also have to look at other possibilities. Can I take a 3 and a 4, 7 and plus 1? No, I can't. All right, can I take a 3 and 1, 4 and another 4 over here? Yes, I can. Okay, so my conditions are I can either have 3, 3, 2 that forms an 8. So I can either have 2, 3, 3, or I can have 2 and 1 that is 3 and a 4 over here. That can be my other condition. So for 14, I can have 2 possibilities. On the other hand, can I also have a 4 here? And then I can have 4 and 1. So I can either have a 2 and then a 3 and a 3. Or what other cases can I have? I can have a 4, 1 here. That's a 5 here, 1, and then a 3 here. No, sorry, a 4 here. Yeah, 3 here. So I can have a 4, 1, 3 as well. Is there any other possible case that I can take in order to make the 8 over here? My numbers are only 2. My numbers are only 2 and 4 for W. My options are only 2 and 4 for W. So with 2, I can have 2, and then do I have a 4 and a 2? No, I don't. 4 plus 3, 7 plus 1. There is no 1 over here. So these are the 2 possible cases here. This we are doing for R4. It could be either of them. I could either have the 1 here or a 3 here. All right, let's get on with maybe some other part. Now R5. R1, I know it's either going to be 3 or 4, 3 or 4. So there's nothing left to do here unless these are fixed. Let's try R5 now. So R5 talks about 5 and 2, 7. That means these 3 have to make up for a 10 for me. If they have to make up for a 10, again, for R5, if I write down my cases, if I consider 2 from R5, how will I get a 10 otherwise? So this is 2, plus I'll have to do a 4 and 4 here. That's my only case if I take a 2. What if I take a 4 here? Can I make a 10 otherwise? So 6, I have to make a 6 from these values. It's not possible. I can't take 1 plus anything to make a 6. 3 plus 3 could be possible. 4 plus 4 is not giving me a 6. So yeah, it could be 4 and 3 and 3. That could be a situation as well. Now, if we take a look at R4, the cases that we have written carefully, for Yusuf, R4 cannot be anything except for a 3. R4 in both the cases, even if I take a 2 on the top, this will be a 3 and Yusuf will be a 3. Even if I take a 4 on the top, this will be 1 and this will still be 3. So for R4, Yusuf will always be a 3. The 4s can be eliminated from this. So I'm going to erase the 4s and keep the 3 intact, which means if 3 is gone here, then the other two have to be 4s. So this cannot be a 3, and neither can this be a 3. So Yusuf's scores are now fixed. Once I have Yusuf's score fixed, this then definitely is a 3. X is a 3 here. That means the 3 is eliminated from this bit, and the 3 is eliminated from this bit as well. So it's either going to be a 1 or 4 in this situation. So it's either going to be a 1 or 4 in these two cases, right? So I've taken care of R4. These has to be 3. So now if I go to X in R4 and R5, it can be either a 4 or a 3. It can be either a 4 or a 3 in R5. If R5 can be either a 3 or a 4, 3 is what we just eliminated. There cannot be a 1. In either of the situations, R5 cannot be a 1 for X. That means 1 is eliminated from here. That means 1 will stick to R4. Now we get our situation. This has to be a 3, 1, and a 4 here. That is the first case of R4. And therefore, if 2 is eliminated here, 4 stays here. The 4 will go out from here and 2 will remain over here. So we have 2, 4, and 4. That's the first case of R5 as well. We have now zeroed down on the possible conditions and we've got all the scores that we wanted. So this is how our final diagram looks like. We've received the scores from all the 5 restaurants for all the 5 workers. And now answering the questions is a piece of cake. Let's take a look at this and the questions and answer our type in the answer type of questions. So we have just consolidated the solution into a table like this. Let's take a look at the question. How many individual ratings cannot be determined from the above information? From this information, is there any individual whose ratings cannot be determined? No, we have determined all the ratings for all the 5 workers from all the 5 restaurants. So the answer to this question is going to be 0. So there is a type in the answer box. We will fill it with a 0. Question number 2. To how many workers did R2 give a rating of 4? R2 gave a rating of 4 to nobody. So the answer for this theta question is also 0. Question number 3. What rating did R1 give to Xavier? R1 to Xavier is a rating of 3. So my theta answer is going to be 3. What is the median of the ratings given by R3 to the 5 workers? R3 to the 5 workers, what is the median? The median is the middle value when you arrange all of these in ascending order. So for R3, your values are 1, 4, 4, 5, 5. And the median is the middle number. So my answer here will be 4. And the last question for the set. Which among the following restaurants give its median rating to exactly one of the workers? Let's understand the question once again. Which among the following restaurants, so it's either R5, R2, R3, or R4. I'm not going to check for R1. Don't waste time on an option which is not there in the list. Gave its median rating to exactly one of the workers. What does that mean? Let's start with R5 and see. R5's median rating is, so we have 2 2s, 2 4s, and a 5. If I write it down just for an explanation for one restaurant, 2 2s, 2 4s, and a 5, their median rating is 4. Have they given their median rating to exactly one worker? No, in fact, it's given to 2 workers. R5's median rating is 4 and it is given to X and Y both. I want some restaurant that is given the median rating to only one of the workers. So R5 is not the answer. Let's take a look at B, R2. R2, what is going to be the median now? Let's try and do this in the mind. There are 2 1s, 2 2s, and a 5. 2 1s, 2 2s, and a 5. So middle number is 2. That means its median is 2. But has it given to only one worker? No. R2, in fact, has given 2 to 2 workers. So R2, again, is not my answer. Let's check R3. R3 has a median of, so there is 1, 4, 4, 5, 5. So 4 is the median for R3. Again, it has given it to 2 workers, so R3 is not the answer. So by default, our answer is R4, but let's just check for R4 as well. R4, what is the median? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4. So 1, 2, 3. 3 is the median. And has it given 3 to only 1 worker? Yes, it has. So my answer is R4. So like I said, it was a little tedious in the beginning because we had to find all these values. But once these values were set, and because the numbers were very easy, it was 1 to 5, it wasn't an issue as such. So once these values are all arranged, the questions are a breeze. They barely take any time to answer. That is all for today's set. But yes, make sure that you click on the link in the description. Make sure to subscribe to us because we get one such set every single week for all of you. So make sure that you share it with your friends as well and stay updated. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching the video so much.